the Wendy Belserion situation. So ever since 516 there's been some talk on whether Eileen's own body is dead or not, and what I mean by that is not that it disappeared because she enchanted herself onto Wendy. What I mean is that Ursa delivered a pretty significant strike to Eileen's forehead with her sword without holding back. I've seen more than one idea on what happened, although they're all similar in small ways. One idea that I have seen is that Eileen deliberately allowed Ursa to deliver a critical blow to Eileen so that she could show Ursa the scary reality of her magic by putting herself onto Wendy. Even though she most likely could just enchant herself onto Wendy at any given time, she did not find out that Wendy had access to some pretty fancy enchantment techniques until just before Ursa struck her. So like that's when Eileen knew for sure that Wendy was compatible and commenced the enchantment onto a new host. Another thing I've seen, but I think I only saw this once on the internet, and that was something like Eileen actually allowing herself get damaged because the enchantment changes their bodies. So that Wendy gets put in Eileen's old body, which means that Wendy will be in a body so damaged that she can't really be of any use for the remainder of the fight, giving Eileen absolute freedom when fighting Ursa. Especially since Wendy's body was said to have less magic power than Eileen's own body, so Eileen will most likely need to adapt before she can utilize it to its fullest, and Wendy inside Eileen's body would just be in the way, so she had to damage that body. There is however a third possibility, which most people will probably seem like the real reason, and that's the boring one. Eileen simply did what she had to do because Ursa got a few good hits on her, and another convenient host happened to be right in front of her, as she pretty much says something like, "How lucky that I would run into a body of both Dragon Slayer and Enchanter nature." Don't quote me on that though. But I'm very curious if the second reason I mentioned is the real one, that they change bodies. Like, that would put Wendy's living status in serious danger, especially if the wound is potentially lethal. Another danger that can emerge, of course, is that if Acnologia by some off chance drops by, he'll think that's Eileen and not someone else. Now I don't think he will, simply because if he did, Eileen would probably die too, seeing as she's in the body of a young Dragon Slayer with a pretty weak magic power container compared to everyone else at the scene, even Ursa. But it would be an interesting touch if they actually did change bodies, because that would mean that they would need to keep Wendy's body alive at all costs, while actually like keeping it from fighting in some weird way. They would basically need to find some way to turn their minds back into the right bodies, and that is where the complications comes in, because we don't really know any other enchanters other than Wendy and Eileen herself. We have seen some crazy shit from Levi at times, but something tells me this is way out of her game. Well, anyway guys, that's it for this video on the situation of Wendy Belserion and Eileen's old body. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and if you did, please like this video and subscribe if you're new. Bye.